Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Lovecraft discussion. I'm your host, Darth Hasser, and with us again, we have the ever so knowledgeable, ever so eloquent Purple Valkyrie. Hello, Purple Valkyrie.
Good evening. Thank you for having me back. What an awesome intro. That was amazing.
I've only got one thing to say about that. Hashtag blame Loki.
That was really cool. I loved it.
That was one of those intros that Loki made for me, and I love it. And I thought it was so cool, and it's so appropriate for the topics that we do here on the Lovecraft discussions.
It is, absolutely. Perfect.
And what a topic we have. What a topic we have. One of the bigger stories, I believe.
It is, yeah. We were kind of discussing back and forth about how to tackle this one, because although it's one of his most famous novellas, it's not the easiest one to pick up. It's not one that you would recommend to someone who hasn't read Lovecraft before. So yeah, we were just trying to kind of decide how to tackle this.
This is definitely more advanced. Yeah, even we're at odds. No, seriously, chat. Even both of us are at odds and ends of how to tackle this beast at the Mountains of Madness because it is okay. It's not exactly your beginner's Lovecraft story. It's more for people that are well versed in Lovecraftian lore and story, and most of his mythos, especially the Cthulhu mythos in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely. It's one that people kind of say, oh yeah, Three Mountains of Madness, it's the quintessential Lovecraft. But it's a harder one to pick up, especially because, as you say, it ties in a lot of the other mythos. It brings in Cthulhu, it brings in the other elder gods. And there's a lot of kind of characters that are kind of brought up as well that have ties to other characters. Like Innsmouth, for example, is brought up, if I remember correctly.
And I believe Pabody had something to do with what was it, Red Hook?
Yep, Red Hook, and the thing on the doorstep as well, because it references
the head of, and
Shoggoths.
Yes, the thing on the doorstep. Yes, Shoggoths are a real big part of this. And speaking of Shoggoths, I got a little surprise for
cool
the chat. And oh yes, just give me a second here.
Okay, that is cool. Yep, that's one of our elder gods.
Actually, that's actually a Shoggoth. I was looking for a picture of Shub-Niggurath, but I couldn't find one that I actually liked.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Shoggoth's good too.
There's that. Shoggoths are freaking cool.
Shall we start by giving just a little bit of background?
I know Yitzy Lemons has been watching Lovecraft Country.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to say something real quick. Yeah, we probably should, but Yitzy, I know Yitzy's been watching Lovecraft Country, and so have I. This, my friend, is what a Shoggoth really should look like. Take a good gander, because that's a real Shoggoth. This is what Shoggoths are really supposed to look like, not what Lovecraft Country gave us.
Yes, I've got to admit I haven't been watching it, to be honest. I know of it.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, it wasn't really one that was on my radar. because technically I wouldn't really class it as
Yeah,
Lovecraft.
I
It's
mean, I
based
watched
upon
it.
Lovecraft.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But it's a fun little watch. I've been meaning to pick up the book, but back to the Mountains of Madness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, this was supposedly a expedition to the Antarctic that they found some puzzling fossils of some things and some architecture that they didn't really quite know how to explain. And it was in what was the date? November 3rd, 1927.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
believe the
right.
book says,
Yes, that's
which is kind of
correct.
weird. We're doing this in November. I,
eh,
I don't know. I don't
Timing.
know about you, but
It's
that's
okay.
kind of striking a nerve with me. It's like either we were going to do this in November or we were going to hold this all the way off till about February. Seriously. Because I just recently found out that this was actually published in Astonishing Tales in February
Mm-hmm.
of
Yep.
what did I say again?
1936.
1936.
Yep.
1936 is
36.
what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I had to double back on my book, my index of my book. I'm not gonna lie there. It's like I just looked at it too, and then I just got up here and it's like brain fart.
There's a lot of dates to remember. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It was one of the few books that wasn't picked up by Weird Tales. It was actually rejected by the editor. So it was picked up instead by Astonishing Stories, and they published it.
And they were talking about drilling into the ice and seeing what was all there with a steam powered drill with manned by Mr. What's his name? Frank Pabity is what I've got on mine.
Yes, Frank Pabody. Um, yeah, you're absolutely right. As you were saying, the story is about a geologist, William Dyer. He was a professor at Miskatonic University, and he's interested in exploration, mainly in Antarctica, because he thinks there are secrets to be found there. And the story is about how he takes a small group of people back to a area that had already been looked at, but the people that had been there previously had all disappeared. So think kind of like John Carpenter's The Thing. It's that sort of story. And this new group is trying to find out what's happened to the previous group and find out what these specimens are that have been discovered.
And apparently they find all kinds of things, including sugars. I don't know. I just find that fun.
Yes, they do absolutely find some very odd prehistoric life forms that they can't identify. They're not sure if they're plants or if they're animals. Some of the specimens they find have been badly damaged. They look like they've been carved up with tools. But some of the specimens are actually in perfect condition.
I notice it also mentions Nathaniel Derby Pickman, at least the Pickman Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
which has something to do with contributing to Miskatonic University in ways, usually funding for studies such as this expedition. But this is
Yes,
one of
well,
those stories that is kind of written real different than some of the other stories. I mean, I've seen little pieces of what do you call it? Like radio like broadcasting,
hmm
like they're talking on like a radio or some kind of short range talkie device,
yeah. So this one was written
and
actually as
there's
a
like
novella.
background voices coming in. And go ahead, go ahead. I've said enough.
I was just going to say this one was written actually as a novella rather than being split up into kind of chapters as previous books have been. So this one flows much better
Oh,
as a story.
yeah. No wonder it's a much more cohesive than Herbert West Reanimator. I couldn't get through that. The way it just kept repeating itself. I'm not gonna lie, and I keep going back to it. I'm like, oh my god, this thing gets on my nerves.
Yes, I remember you saying there was a lot of back and forth and recapping with Reanimator.
Yeah, I hate enough repeating myself. I don't need a book to do it. But I finally got through it after we done the stream. I will say that.
Oh, did you go back and finish it?
Yes, I finally finished it. Took me hell and high water.
See, if that had been me, I would just leave it because you're not enjoying it.
Yeah, she like I literally had to like bite my nails the whole damn time. But yeah, that's why they're so short now. It's it just I love the way this one is written compared to some of the other ones. It almost like it could have been a dramatic radio play. The way
hmm
the radios were actually introduced, and the way they describe the sounds of the chopper, like the planes and the starting of the engines and whatnot. And sorry about that. Maybe I should turn off my phone. Mm. All right. Um, I lost my train of thought. You, you want to?
Yeah, sure. It's like you say, it flows much better. And if I remember correctly, it has actually been translated into radio plays. That's why it's kind of more in the forefront of people's minds when they think Lovecraft. Um, but as a book, it's not the easiest one to jump into. Um, where did we get to in the story?
Um, I think we're still on a one where it starts to mention Dyer and Pabody at reading the Necronomicon probably, and mention
Yeah,
Clark Ashton Smith's nightmare paintings, which is another one of Lovecraft's contributors in what was it, Weird Tales?
Weird Tales. Yeah.
I think that's where we were talking. Is she speaks of elder things and which are these winged like creatures. Yeah, I couldn't find one of those pictures to save my life that I actually kind of like, but I could probably Google here real quick and actually pull up one. If you guys are really interested, I'll pull one up. Chuck me a one real quick if you want me to just go get an elder thing while we discuss the rest of this. If not, we'll just move on. And Mr. Hyde ended up picking up a copy of Herbert West Reanimator.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope you like it. Yeah,
Well,
so
that's
as we were saying,
what's his Facebook whatnot? It says it's not serialized, but that's not what my index says in the back of my. That's not what my index says. My appendix. It says it. No, wait. You're right. It's a novella. It's not a. It's
yeah,
not
it's
serialized.
not serialized. It
Where was I
didn't
seeing?
get cut up.
Unlike all the others, or most of the others. Everybody, it looks like somebody wants a one. I see 1-1. Doctor Who chat, hello.
Hey there.
A lot of people. Let's greet the chat. Let's see, Nancy V Star, that Nigel movie guy, Jennifer Conkle, Mr. Hyde. Oh, what's his face? McWhatnot. Sorry, Pop Culture Avenger. Holy crap. Monster fan. Hello. How you doing? And welcome. Maybe I don't remember. I can't remember if you've been Wookiee Supremacy. Well, it's good to have you anyway, Monster fan. Jester of Sin, Butterflies. Oh, wait, Purple Valkyrie's there. Hey, wait a minute. Do you have an evil twin? We'll never know. Dum dum dum. All right. Ow, fuck. Where are we? I just hit my head on the mic.
Oh, be careful.
Oh.
Yeah, where we got to in the story, they found the specimens, and they also are starting to learn about the creatures mentioned, as you say, in the Necronomicon, which are dubbed the Elder Ones. So the main expedition, the main party, loses contact with Dyer and the rest of his colleagues as they travel off to investigate the camp, and they find the camp has been ransacked, basically. Everyone, including the sled dogs, have been killed, and one person, if I remember correctly, is missing. And close by, they find 6 mounds in the snow, and buried under these mounds are the damaged remains of the Elder Ones. So these are the life forms that they come across. They have no idea what these things are. They can't fall into any particular category because they've never seen anything like this before. And they're completely perplexed. They start to take samples, and things progressively get worse from there.
How do we do? Oh. Yeah, everything just seems to be going downhill, and I think that that's part of chapter 2. There's like 12 different chapters to this. Like I said, like we both said, this is one of the longer ones
Hmm.
that they really couldn't chop up and put in weird tales. Either that or Lovecraft wouldn't allow it.
It, I don't think they
You
wanted it.
take your
If I remember
pick.
correctly, it got rejected. But even so, I don't think it would work being cut up because there's just too much of it. You know, you break up the flow of the story far too much.
There's no, there's not enough in part 1 to really scrape up too much interest. You really get it really doesn't get meaty till about like start to get into stuff until like 2, and then it just keeps going from there. Like I think I got to 9 last night just
Hmm.
reviewing, and I kind of fell asleep, so I started again this morning around chapter 8, and and yeah, that was, of course, by then it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was practically dead. It's practically dead man walking at that point. It was like the caffeine. But yeah, and then later on they find a labyrinth of walls and towers and minarets of architecture that they've never seen before or is even documented in at least human history.
Hmm. Yes. Obviously, this
And
sparks their curiosity and they start to explore. They go further in. They come across hieroglyphics and murals, and this is where they first see the story of how the Shoggoths, with the help of primitive whatever life was here before humans, built this place. And it kind of gives the backstory and the introduction of the elder things or the older gods and how they came to Earth. And I think it also mentions Cthulhu, if
and
I
from
remember
what I
correctly.
understand it from other stories, yes, it does. But from what I understand, what this actually was, if you go back um, to the Shadow Out of Time,
Hmm.
it's basically a sanctuary for Shoggoths, or at least that's what they depict it as on Earth.
Yes, yes, it's somewhere where
Because
they could kind
after
of
the
retreat to.
Shoggoths made the Migos, after they practically made the Migos extinct, they came to Earth and they resided in these cyclopean pieces of architecture in the Antarctic. But you don't really get that unless you of read The Shadow Out of Time. That's what I said.
Mhm.
That's what we've been trying to say. This is one of those ones that literally ties almost everything together. This is not one of those books you could just jump into. You literally have to know your stuff to actually get this book.
Yes, it's either that
And
or you're going to spend a lot of your time cross referencing and looking up names of things that you haven't actually come across yet. Like you say, like the Migo, Cthulhu, Shoggoths. None of this would actually mean anything to you if this is the first book that you kind of pick up.
Yeah, and not to mention the elder things, which is a whole nother being altogether. Yeah, I need to see if I can find it. You think you could take over while I fetch a photo or something?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll just continue with the story. And Nancy,
Okay.
it's At the Mountains of Madness. That's the book that we're talking about this week. So one of the larger novellas that Lovecraft wrote. Yes, so as we were saying, they explore further and further into this city. It's almost like a labyrinth. They're coming across things that they've never seen before. This is a massive scientific breakthrough, and they're a little bit naive as to where they're looking. So the further they go in, they kind of they're piecing together the story of the old ones as they go. So all these murals and hieroglyphs, they tell the story of what happened and where they went. Eventually, Antarctica became too inhospitable for even the older ones to live, so they retreated under the water. And that's why this place was abandoned eventually. But they do come across something that is still alive there, which is a Shoggoth. And this thing, it shocks them into almost insanity to lay eyes on this undulating, tentacled being, basically. Like in Hasta's avatar, they have no idea what this thing is, they can't communicate with it, and they flee, basically. They flee back to the plane, and
They see it and they run away shivering.
yes, understandably so.
Scare the pee out of a man.
And that's pretty much as the story ends. They flee from this discovery, and he begs the people who sent him on the expedition never to go back there. You do not want to know what was found, and that's kind of where the story ends. It's left on almost a cliffhanger. It's like, is he listened to? And is this place pretty much forgotten as it was before, or do they get curious about what he's found, and is another expedition sent?
But there is a sound. There is a sound that they all will never forget. It was a sound they heard before they even started to leave, and it even went over the sound of the plane as they were leaving. It was a sound more like Tikilili! 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 I mean, am I right?
No, you got it right.
It has weird phenomenon in it, like the distortions in the radio transmissions, different voices that are not with them on the expeditions. It's really one of those ones where you could just amazing rendition. Thank you. I haven't really been practicing too hard on that. I just kind of just threw it out there like, whatever. Even what's his face whatnot. I know he's he big in Lovecraftian stuff. That's what he remembered it sounding like, or at least what he'd imagined it'd sound like. Because it's not really, unless you get a hold of one of those audio books, you don't really actually hear it. It's just
Hmm.
all on the page. So you just got to imagine what this would actually sound like. And that's what I
Yes.
picked up off of it before I actually picked up the audiobooks and stuff and started dabbling into that. And that's what everybody else came up with. So I'm like, okay, let's just go with this. I'll stick with it. But that's what I came up with.
It was well done. I liked it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's 12, 12 chapters, very long, very descriptive, just like anything Lovecraft. Oh, excuse me, anything Lovecraft ever writes. Mm. And I have a feeling he's really big into like architecture, or at least was.
He was, if I remember correctly, yeah, he had an appreciation of architecture.
Because the way he describes buildings and architecture and things of that nature, it's just very in depth. Like kind of the way Stephen King would write a leaf falling. If you've ever, if that man could turn a leaf falling into almost about at least a page and a half, 2 pages. It's insane. Oh, but I digress. And we'll just give you a little tidbit on some pictures of the elder things. Now I just got to get this share screen thing up. But I don't need to share audio. Yada yada yada. Application window. And here we go. Is it working? No, I don't think it's working. No, it's like
Not yet.
not today. Is it now?
Yeah, I think so. Yep, there you go. It's up.
Oh, this puppy. This is probably one of the better ones. I like this one. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but
Yeah.
this is
I
one of
don't
the
think I'd
better
want to
ones. I
come
like
face to
this one.
face with that.
That's an elder thing. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with that mamma jamma either. And that looks like one bad mofo. You find that in the middle of freaking nowhere, you're gonna either pee yourself or run like hell. One of the two. Take your pick. I wouldn't be caught in a dark alley with that thing.
No. No, I don't think I'd want to run into it either.
All right, enough of that. And we're back. Now that I didn't know. I didn't know he was that big into architecture so much that he actually wrote letters on topics of architectural significance. That's actually cool. Wow, something I didn't even know.
Yeah, Monster fans are right. It is borrowed quite heavily from Edgar Allan Poe's story. A lot of Edgar Allan Poe, Lovecraft kind of was a big fan of, if I remember correctly. He was um, kind of in awe of him.
Yes, I think I think I'm even mentioned that Lovecraft was big into Poe, and it's a big cycle. Poe was Poe was Poe. I'm just I'm not even going to try. But Lovecraft was really big into Robert W. Chambers
Mm-hmm.
and mythologies and stuff he used to read in his grandpa's library when he was a child, which was history books, mythology books. His grandpa used to tell him all these tales when he was a child, which was probably the only father figure he really had.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I knew he was a big fan of colonial architecture, but I didn't know he was so big into it that he actually wrote letters and papers and documents on it and things. That total news to me. Hey, I even learned something today. Wow. It's
Like I
nice to
say,
actually learn about things that you enjoy.
it is, and it's not really um, surprising. It's like we said earlier about his interest in Antarctic exploration, so he would have known quite in detail about previous Antarctic explorations, and that's what he used for this particular book. He wrote what he knew, basically, and he wrote what interested him.
And he was interested in space and what's beyond there and a lot of what's underneath the ocean, which was
Mm.
barely getting explored when he was. Colin's got a point. Always a good day when you can learn something new. Indeed.
Hmm.
Yes, yes. I, yeah, we kind of butchered the sauce out of this story, though. But
Yeah, so it's hard to kind of condense it down into bite-sized chunks without doing a multi-part series on it. Where did you first come across At the Mountains of Madness? Was it one of the ones that you first read, or was it one that you came across after you'd been a fan for a while?
after my first one was actually The Beast in the Cave. I believe we've already, we both have already gone over this. I didn't even know it was Lovecraft, and then a friend of mine I talked to at the comic book store said that Beast in the Cave, that's H.P. Lovecraft. And I'm like, what? Who? H.P. Lovecraft? You didn't know that was H.P. Lovecraft? No. That's kind of how that conversation went. Should I know this is H.P. Yeah. The weird ass way us men talk to each other. especially us friends that have known each other forever. We don't even have to use full sentences half the time. It's like we got our own code. Oh yes, H.R. Geiger was heavily influenced by Lovecraft. I am sure of it. That man understands existential horror without a doubt. I mean, he gave us the aliens, right? He's the one that actually his art inspired the making of the xenomorphs. So I'm pretty sure there is a connection between H.R. Geiger and Lovecraft.
Yes, yeah,
Weird
I
Earth.
do agree.
Probably.
I'd agree.
I don't know about this one.
I haven't read Dune. I've seen the film, but I've never read the book. So sorry, Colin.
I've seen the, I've seen the film too, but I still haven't picked up the book. It's definitely on my to do list. Sadly enough, Jester of Sin. Sadly enough, an original thought can't even pass our minds without injecting it with something. And you might as well forget about awards because now you gotta gotta get through a checklist just to even be nominated. So, and by a checklist, I mean a diversity checklist. I don't know if you've seen that article, Purple Valkyrie, but
I did. I know what you mean, absolutely. Yeah. But what's his face whatnot brings up
it's
a good.
what, the one above that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Arctic Antarctic exploration, the oceans and space are rather
But
solitary.
that's the thing
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
it, they would actually. That's the thing about Lovecraft's protagonists. They are just usually just regular average Joes, blue collar men. Mo- Mostly predominantly men. I never really understood that.
It's just his quirk, wasn't it? He wrote about the everyman. You know, he most of his characters aren't particularly heroic, and they're not particularly competent either. Only a few of them really kind of know what they're doing.
They
All the
just
others
have
kind of just stumble into whatever situation he puts them in. At least with the Mountains of
that that
Madness,
that is
the
kind of true. They
protagonist.
just kind of like, yeah, they just kind of blunder in there, don't they? Is that what you were going to say? They just kind of blunder in
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, la di da di da, I'm digging a hole. Oh, look. It looks like something weird. We've seen this stuff before. What the heck is it? Pabberty, get your ass over here. Come check this out, man. What the hell is that? It's nothing I've
Yes,
ever seen before. Any documentation ever. This is just crazy. This is definitely a good find. My representation of the crew, if they were actually alive today and doing this.
yes, but at least with this story, you're
Pop culture Avenger. Go ahead. Go ahead.
all right. Carry on.
No, no, no. You were on something. Go ahead
I was just gonna
with
say,
the
at least with
story.
this story, the main character William Dyer, Danforth, Pabody, at least they're characters that are more competent. They actually go looking and exploring. You know, they want to get to the bottom of this mystery that they've uncovered. It's only once they explore and break into the unknown that they realize what a horrible mistake they've made. And by then, obviously, it's too late.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those things. And yes, what's his Facebook whatnot makes a nice little another little. Yeah, they're just standard man relying on more abstracted works of learned or insane others. True, so true. It really is. May, there may be an answer to mainstream Hollywood. At least I hope there is. Well, but I can only hold to hope for now. There may be something. They'd have to get this whole diversity checklist thing out of their heads real quick.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to be going anywhere anytime soon, unfortunately.
Nope. They figured it out. The world with the internet is way too big now. As soon as they figure out they can't please everybody, it'll be a lot easier. But what the hell do I know? I'm just some dude who does Lovecraftian discussions on YouTube. Oh, and I don't know. This is one of those stories that just we're just kind of just vamping at this point. I'm glad everybody showed up for this one. It's definitely a haul to read. And if you really don't know what you're doing, anything else I want to oh no, not a am I missing something?
No, I don't think
If you
so.
think I missed
Just
something, Purple, go on ahead.
no, I think we pretty much covered it. We gave the overview of the story and a little bit of the background. Um, is it one that you would recommend though to people?
recommend to people, not right off the bat. No. I would not recommend this straight out the gate. After you've read a little, a bit of H.P. Lovecraft, yeah, I'd recommend this. But to somebody straight out the gate, I really wouldn't. I think we've, I think we've drilled that one into the dirt with this stream. Would you?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I'd say get a little bit more Lovecraft under knowledge under your belt before going on to this one. Even though, as you say, it's one of his more famous ones, it's not the easiest one to pick up. And I think somebody, if they pick it up straight away, they're not going to enjoy it as much. If they don't kind of understand the connections between the characters and between the creatures mentioned and how it ties into the bigger Lovecraft mythos.
Yes, Monster Fan. It is considered one of his best stories, and with the highlighted comment from what's his face McWhatnot, pronounced similarities between Lovecraft, noir, and hard-boiled fiction. There's a reason for that. Originally, Weird Tales magazine, before Lovecraft and Robert Chambers and Robert E. Howard started writing for them, they were basically a noir. Weird Tales was kind of a detective type stories book magazine. Oh,
Bless you.
oh. Thank you.
Bless you.
I guess all that looking for all that paperwork, got the dust all stirred up. Now got the.
You okay?
Bless.
Are you okay?
Holy
Yeah.
cow! Heck with the snorts. No, that was bad. No. Oh. Exactly. What at the Mountains of Mystery is more is what I'd actually call it. That's what I'd kind of call it. It's definitely more at the Mountains of Mystery than it is the Mountains of Madness. If I had to give it a funny title, because it does have that detective-y, exploratory, investigatory vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a true noir pulp comic or magazine read entry. Would you agree, Purple?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. And I think that's why it translates so well into radio plays and audio dramas.
Yeah, I'd put it along the lines of Black Mask. Snort rebounds. Oh, this chat. Oh. I thought it was funny. You can't take credit for that? Well, if I ever get some merch, that's probably going to be on some at the Mountains of Mystery.
That would be cool.
Not getting noticed. Damn it.
Yeah, I think that's YouTube at the moment. I'm getting
Yeah,
very random with the notifications of people going live, or if they're coming through,
yeah.
they're coming through like 20 minutes after the stream started.
I did post it in a Discord, and I posted it in a bunch of Discords. I've also posted it in Twitter, and I've seen you retweeted it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, but this was yeah. Usually, I find what I find on Google is usually worth something. I was gonna try to save that elder thing photo and switch it to my avatar, but last time I tried to get this Shoggoth picture before we went on, it literally blipped me out of StreamYards completely. So I was like, I'm not gonna try it. Not doing it. It literally kicked me clean off of Google.
That's weird.
So I was like, not today.
Was that Chrome you were using that kicked you out?
Yeah, that's. I think that's what I run. Yeah, I believe it is Chrome.
Mm-hmm. And
One
Colin
of the
brings up that the
Googles.
Mountains of Madness is shown as in development. Originally, that was going to be picked up and directed by
The
Guillermo del Toro.
that no, I got to say something about that. Guillermo, I think I've even mentioned this a few times. That is literally at the Mountains of Madness is literally Guillermo del Toro's dream project.
Mm.
He is a hardcore Lovecraft fan. He's actually been to seminars for the Lovecraft festivals at Providence, Rhode Island, alongside St. Joshi, which is the modern historian of the life of H.P. Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. That's cool. I knew he was a big fan, and I knew that's his kind of dream project, but it doesn't seem to have ever kind of gone anywhere,
Yeah,
even though it surfaces every so often.
he's so big that he actually goes to the festivals, and it's usually around the days that I think it's either last time I heard of one, it was his birthday. Which I used to remember, but now I'm drawing an absolute blank. My mind's going extra special.
That's
My
all right.
mind has officially taken the short bus. I know he was born in 1890. I remember that much. But as far as the month and the date, hello, Google, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. We come to look at you about Lovecraft. Give me something till there's nothing left. I don't know why I'm still singing this fucking song, but I'll just vamp until you tell me to shut the fuck up. What? Nothing? Shit. Never doing that again.
That was cool.
All right. H.P. Lovecraft. Born August 20th, 1890. Died March 15th, 1937. The one thing that Wikipedia really is good for is birth dates and death dates. It's about the only thing they're good for. Anything else I wouldn't trust. Except for maybe like spouses and stuff. Other than that, I really wouldn't trust Wikipedia that much. Because even
No, I
Wikipedia
don't.
gets things wrong. You don't trust Wikipedia either.
Not really,
Whoa.
no. Not when it can be edited by anyone.
True. But most of these things that got cult followings, like H.P. Lovecraft and Castlevania, have their own Wikipedia or Pedia pages. Like I think even Star Wars has its own Pedia page. You keep the facts really tight. And I think we're at a wrap.
Cool.
It's been
Well,
over an hour.
yeah, thank you for having me on. Thank you. It's been a while since we've done one.
Again, thank you for putting up with me.
Do we have a topic for the next one, or is it something we can kind of discuss later?
Yeah, I've been meaning to. It's like we already tackled one of the big bosses. Like, what are we gonna do next? It's like I don't even know. Unless you want to cover the shadow out of time, since I kind of mentioned it here, it would be a good branch off.
Yeah, we could cover that if you like. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff Franklin's like, yeah, shadow at a time. Sounds freaking awesome.
All right, then we will do Shadow Out of Time.
You heard the lady, shadow at a time. H.P. Lovecraft discussions here on this channel. Purple Valkyrie, do you have anything to plug or anything?
Just our normal show, really. We'll be back on Friday with Valkyries, and on Saturday we've got a couple of shows, but we need to kind of iron those out. So I'll let people know on Friday a little bit more of the details of what's going on. But that's it, really. Yeah.
Well, I'm actually going to get your channel link right now because I'm cool like that. Yeah, ever since I got the second screen, I've been like all over the place. Got more tentacles than usual. I think I'm starting to
Yeah.
use my face tentacles now.
Do you find it helps having more screens that you can kind of
Don't
jump
ask.
back and forth, or no, you don't prefer it?
Laws, yes. Indeed, I do. This is great. Because I'm literally going to turn on the camera. Here we go. I literally. Okay. And what the hell is going on here? Never mind. I guess I'm not turning on no damn camera. My camera says, fuck you, buddy.
Yep, camera said not today.
Speaking of speaking like a South Park character, I believe even Shub Niggurath was actually even mentioned in the Mountains of Madness, and he was also portrayed in South Park video games. I believe it was, I can't remember which one it was. It was either the Stick of Truth or what's that other one? The Fractured But Whole.
Mm-hmm.
WHOLE. Oh yeah. Copy. Oh. And Lady Miss beat me to it. I was just about to hit that button. Look at
Thank you, Lady Mist.
Oh. We're on top of things. Thank you everyone for coming. Monster Fan, later. It was nice having you. Jeff Franklin, Lady Mist. Thanks for mentioning Chester of Sin. Always fun. Pop Culture Avenger. Awesome. You wanna say goodbye to some? What's his Facebook? Whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Butterflies. Thank you, Itzy. Thank you, Mr. Hyde, for coming. And Nancy, always good to see you, sweetheart. And Jennifer Kunkel. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. And Colin P. Smith. Who else did we have? We had Doctor Who chats.
Yes.
And that Nigel movie guy. Thank you, guys.
Yep. And let's see who else. La, 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 la. Yitsy Lemons, thanks for coming. Mr. Hyde was up in there. Thanks for dropping in and staying for a while. Let's see. Who else do we have? Chris. I know there was Dr. Who chat, but Chris Marcel Yvette. Maybe it was. Anyway. Maybe, but still work. Yes, everyone have a great rest of your evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for coming and thank you for joining us. Remember, stay eldritch, everyone.
Thank you all. And thank you, Hasta, for having me.
It was fun. It's always fun.